From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Hey guys, it's nice to see you guys this morning. I'm getting a late start because I've been reviewing videos and everything else. There is something that popped up that we're going to be talking about, and it's about a photo that was just recently seen with Katie Proudfoot. Should be Bowersox, right? They all should be. Sorry. We're having some tech issues here, and I'm trying to unpack some cords. They're getting caught up here. Anyways, long story short, there were photos going around. It is this one right here. As you guys can see, there's a girl. Everybody's thinking that this girl right here is Faith. Now, this right here, I got to be honest with you. At first, I really didn't think it was her. I've never seen her with glasses on. I've seen her hair's pulled back. It looks a different color if I had to guess. And she's wearing glasses. There's a lot to be said about that. Good morning, guys. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. I think she's trying to change her appearance slightly. I really do. I don't know about you guys. I this is the first I've seen this. I really didn't believe it was her. But as you guys see, it's right here. This right here is the tell-all. This tattoo right here. Everybody wants to know whether or not she's got a tattoo. There it is from Chronicles of Olivia. There is the tattoo that we are seeing on her arm. She has, you know, her band here for Sebastian Rogers. Doesn't look like she's wearing, I can't tell if that's the band for her or if that's her watch. But it looks like even the band might even still be on her wrist right here. So if we had to really guess whether this picture that's been out making its rounds on social media, I've been hearing a lot of people asking, is this really her? And it is my professional opinion that this is her. And that little girl sitting next to her is Faith. I'm not sure quite how I feel about this entire situation. I feel like she look like she's living her best life. You know, we've got a lot of photos like this where they seem to be. Faith is Chris Proudfoot's daughter, the one that him and his mother, Kathy Bowersox, kidnapped from Nina, his ex-wife. He's still trying to go for full custody. Many people believe that this whole situation with Sebastian Rogers is somehow attributed to the custody situation with Chris Proudfoot. They're missing a kid, and now they get a new kid all to themselves that is all so perfect for the summer. Seems a little weird to me. And for her to be able to be just carrying on life, looking at somebody else's child, sitting next to somebody else's child, breaking bread with somebody else's child. All the while her child's missing that she's never even bothered looking for. She's actually just moved on, ran away, doesn't want to deal with it, doesn't want to deal with the questions, doesn't want to deal with the searching, doesn't want to deal with the detectives. They just want this to be swept under the rug and gone away, you know? Like Chris said, we knew it. We called it months ago before he ever opened his mouth, that he just wants everybody to believe that this is just a simple runaway kid, nothing to see over here. And then months later, that's basically what he said when he said the best part about Sebastian is that he never left any evidence behind. Best part. The best part. Not the worst part. Not the concerning part. The best part. The absolute best part. Where is this picture taken from? To be honest with you, it looks like the same damn barbecue joint, if you ask me. The one that they got mad that they were in the last time somebody took a picture of them. It looks like the same place. I can't tell you where they are. I have no context to this photo other than it was just taken. That's about as much as I have. Especially a matter of months. I'd be such a... We've seen a lot of moms. I mean, let's look at Layla Santinello's mom, right? She's still hunting for her child today. She still goes on her lives and is like a mess. Some days are better than others for her. Some days she's trying to keep it together. Some days she falls just very flat of that, and she's just a blubbering mess on here searching for her daughter. It's what we expect a mom to do. Right? We expect those ups and downs, those highs and lows, those moments of strengths and those moments of just pure shatter. I mean, that is really the true roller coaster that a mom goes on searching for their child. I've seen it time and time again. And this is a mom that never even bothered looking, let alone searching. I mean, you know, she did the bare minimum. She did whatever needed to be done in the public light. That's what she did. Whatever needed to be done in the public light is exactly what she did, and the only thing that she did. Whenever they came to the public light, it was for self-preservation. They were arguing about how unfair their life is, that everybody's being so nasty and so mean to them. You know, they're the victims here. Can't everybody just see that they are the victims? That how can anybody actually look at them and blame them for this child, this beautiful child right here missing? How dare us horrible people here on social media? We're horrible. We're horrible, right? But we're not the ones that lost a child in our locked home in the middle of the night. We're not the ones that chose to change our story 1,000 times from Sunday. We're not the ones that decided to chew every searcher out. We're not the ones that stop people in the middle of the road to question them as to why they're out searching when you and your wife have been asking for people to help. We're not the ones that are out here not putting flyers up. We're not the ones that aren't out in the woods searching. We're not the ones out there searching and hunting and shopping for a motorcycle. And we're definitely ones not out there trashing a father that is out there doing all of those things without the mother that actually physically gave birth to this child. Like she squirt this child out from between her legs, and she'd rather break bread with another child than go out and find her own child. That's where we're at right now. Breaking bread, and of course they have to, but I don't understand how Chris can trust that woman near his daughter. I'm just saying. I would be an absolute blubbering wreck if I was Nina. A blubbering absolute wreck. The mommy doesn't care about her first child. I think with this whole thing and this whole disgusting thing with them, you know, spending the summer with Faith, it's got me just absolutely disgusted to my core that this was the one thing that Chris wanted, right? Let's think about it. Let's play the tape through. Chris did not like Sebastian. He was scared that Sebastian was going to SA his daughter. He wanted his daughter. And all of a sudden, this boy disappears. And Chris has his daughter. That sends shivers down my spine. It literally sends shivers down my spine. Good morning. Do you know if Sebastian's school was involved with a guardian? I don't think they had, like, if you're trying to talk about maybe like a guardian ad litem, I don't know. A regular guardian, they would be dealing with the mom, stepdad, and father. But having like a guardian ad litem to represent his benefits, no. That would divert to his father, which I think his father's been doing a pretty good job. He's not perfect at it. He's very highly, I can't imagine. Like, the crap that Seth, like, I would be in jail right now because I would have ripped somebody's head off, clean off their shoulders. I can't imagine. Like, this case has got me so rattled and frustrated, and just like, we're going to be discussing forensics. We're going to be majorly discussing the forensic aspect of this and when it's going to be going. I'm literally pulling research together. I don't know whether I'm going to do it today or tomorrow because I got several other shows that I could roll with, and I want to do the forensic stuff right because I'm finding some stuff that may make us a little upset with law enforcement. So I'm trying to do my due diligence and making sure that what I'm reading is correct. But I might actually run it, depending on if my research is done. I may actually run the story tonight at 8. If I don't, it'll be tomorrow at 8. So I don't know. That's the question I don't have an answer for. It's only been 4 months. She's sick. Are you kidding me? It was only weeks when she ran away from home. I was sickened then. She's sick in the head. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She's had a very rough childhood. I have a funny feeling that, based on behavior, that she would have utilized that childhood to garner sympathy. She's probably used her childhood to manipulate a lot of different people throughout her life. We didn't look at this aspect at first, but now that we realize she's the only one home alone with Sebastian, does she have the qualifications that are necessary to carry out something like this on, like losing her stuff? And the answer is yes. She has the ability to lose her stuff. She is she's a victim of child crime, a horrible child crime. She, from what I'm hearing, she's on some types of, medication from doctors. She clearly has drinking as attributed to her. She's got a medically needed son. She's working full time. She's going to school full time. She's home alone with this child pretty much full time because her husband's away for work. She's responsible for is it possible? Yes. The answer is yes. Could she snap? Yes. There was enough here. There's enough going on here behind the scenes that this mother could have lost her shit. Absolutely, without a doubt. Otherwise, I would never have brought it up. I would have said something else. I would have went on the bandwagon of, she probably over-medicated her son, which I don't believe. But, it is possible. Just saying they need to be involved, doctors. Oh, yeah. I believe that. And that's part of my research that I'm working on right now because there's a huge protocol from the missing and exploited children. The missing and exploited children, I can't remember the full name, NEMIC, whatever it is, National Center, that's it, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, there it is. They have a whole protocol for police for missing children and abducted children and all this other stuff and things that they should be doing at the very beginning and stuff like that. They really break it down. And I think it's time for us to test Tennessee, especially this case in Sumner County, whether they follow the proper procedures and protocols that are set out by the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. Because my understanding, I'll just give you a little slice of what I'm researching, is it appears that certain things should have been done and should have, are usually done within the first 3 months of a case like this. And I can tell you one of the major things that I have a problem with is one of those critical tasks have still not yet been completed. And we all know what that is. So if it's supposed to be done within 3 months and we're going into our 5th month, I don't want to hear people saying that law enforcement is doing everything that they can, because clearly they're not following the proper procedures and protocols. We'll start looking into Tennessee itself. Maybe there's something in Tennessee and in Tennessee law that's preventing them from doing so. I don't know. He don't mind KP being around Faith because he knows where he's at and knows what happened. But he's got to leave. Who's watching Faith when he's at work? He's at work for weeks on end. He's at work on, I love the donkey one too. I made it for the Summer Wells case in 2022. I made that in 2022. It's funny how it still applies to this day. I haven't been following. Has he been found? No, he has not been found. They did find a bone. I was like out. Everybody under the sun was like blowing my phone up that they found a bone at St. Jude's. I'm telling you, my heart hit the ground. I was sitting in the drive-thru at not McDonald's, Burger King. And so when I get out of the drive-thru, I stop over and I run live because I couldn't read. I was driving. I needed to go live. I'm like, what's going on? Who's going where? What's going, this, that, and the other, and telling you I'm trying to get home. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I hear there's a bone, and I just found it awfully, like, what are the odds? Just think about this. We found a 16-year-old boy literally slap in the middle of the drive path. Slap in the middle of the drive path between Hendersonville and Memphis. And the boy was deceased in a cemetery, of all freaking places where we've been looking. And he's 16. And it's slap dead in the middle. That boy has not yet been identified. I've been over assured that this is not Sebastian. But I tell you what, every day that passes, it unnerves me. It really does. It unnerves me a little bit. But we're told that that's not Sebastian. And then, like, literally 4 or 5 days later, a bone surfaces at St. Jude's, Memphis. Like, what are the effing odds of these things happening within 5 days of each other and all around? Like, I mean, I'm on pins and needles at this point. I feel like I'm in shock at this point. Like, I don't know what to do. But both of these are claimed not to be him. But we have to remember Brian Laundrie. They found like 9 missing people in our search for Brian Laundrie. So is this just the beginning? We've got a lot of people that are doing their own independent searches in their areas up and down the I-40 corridor. I'm learning that there's a new way not a new way, but a new way that I've learned. It's new to me. That there is a possibility, and it's something that Terry Lynn has done. There is a way to get from Hendersonville to Memphis, and they all know it. All the locals know how to get to Memphis on these back roads, and it literally cuts out almost an hour of time. Spuds, isn't that a little, like, that freaks me out. I said something about that yesterday. I'm like, dude, for a hospital, a children's hospital to be built on top of a sacred ground like that just gives me the EBGBs. I'm sorry, it just does. It just doesn't feel right to me, but, had I not known, I wouldn't have known, but now that I do. And I don't like it. You know what? But it's my problem, right? It's not theirs. It's my problem to have. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But again, that's my business, right? But I don't know. It just this case just gets freaky. But 2 things from cemeteries, 2 things around Chris. Like, I feel like Sebastian is reaching out and talking to us. Like, at this point, I don't know why. But, and trust me, I don't get into all the stuff, I have respect for the psychics and mediums and the readings and stuff, but I don't really get sucked into that way. It's not really, something that I have followed a psychic Mac, but it was only Donna, Reverend Donna's, and I like Reverend Donna. I've always liked her. She's tried to explain things to me. I understand her. I don't know about other people. She's the only one I talk to. She's the only one that's given me the time of the day. And therefore, and I did follow her map and I did it. Oh, hey, it's nice to see you, my love. I hope you and your wife are doing well. She said, yeah, I'll call her your wife. I think you guys have been together long enough. Obi is in the house. If you guys don't know who he is the I'll call him the stepfather of Layla Santinello. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope everything's going well. So, I'm just sitting here thinking these are really cryptic, odd oddities. It's bizarre, it's weird, but I feel like we might, we may want to consider looking at some cemeteries. I mean, I don't know of any other glaring signs that we need right now. This looks like a sign, maybe a cryptic sign, but a sign that we might want to explore that has literally no factual basis or relevance. But there's been a lot of cemeteries and bones in our area. That's all I'm saying. In our personal search area, there's a lot of things going on that's been happening here lately. But I would like to know the route that Terry Lynn took. I need to call her. I need to try to remember to call her. That's the one thing I'm the worst at is picking up the phone, calling people. If people call, I'll call back, or I'll pick up the phone if it rings. But the worst thing I do is call people. I'm just so bad. I get sidetracked, and then when I remember it's time to call, it's so late in the evening that I am scared I'm going to, is it I-69? DC, it says I-69. So now we need, I'll call the crane operator too. I need to write all this crap down. Hopefully I remember to do it today. Crane operator, let me get this. Yes, I can only call the crane. The crane operator is a little difficult because I have to call after 6, and that's when my brain just starts putting out. So crane operator. And what was the other thing I was going to do? What was the other thing? I got the pad out to remember to do. Sebastian is giving signs. I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's like that. So I-69. Okay. Because I want to find out if people are checking the I-69 corridor, because I was unfamiliar with it, but now that we know what we know about this case so far, and I really do feel like Chris, like I'm trying to get the pieces together so we can identify where Chris was. That is really, if I can figure out when he got to work, I can piece together a damn puzzle here. And if I can find out what time he left the day to go back to pick up his camper, I can put some calculations in there and plug that in and figure out where he could be. And this is what it's all about. Everybody kept asking, like, why are we going down these rabbit holes? Why do we need to know this? What do we need to know that? How is this helping find Sebastian? It's because we need to know where everybody was. If we can know where everybody was at a certain time, it doesn't matter what time it is. But if we can identify where somebody is at a certain time and where somebody is at the last time, beginning and end, we have a time. And we know that somebody can only move so much in that time, right? So it really limits a pool of where they can move if they're in this specific spot, they're from this specific spot, and they arrive at this specific spot at this time. That's what all of this has been trying, because we have to find a way to do this. Chris ain't giving us these times. So if you want to know why we had to take so long and diving into this case and tearing it apart, because we had people that weren't being cooperative. Weren't being cooperative in the search of their missing child. That's why. They can say they were being cooperative with law enforcement. I don't know what they were telling law enforcement. I can tell you that we have been here, they have been on literally double-digit number of interviews. And every time we ask the questions we need answered, they want to give us some BS boilerplate nonsense that doesn't help us locate their son. And why do we need to know about them? Because we think they did it. And if they want us to look the other way, let us do our job with you guys first so we can move on. But no, they wanted us to stick around them. They wanted us to sit here and just spin around them. So you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I will just keep spinning around them until I get my answers. I don't know what else to tell you folks, okay? I think that this man right here knows where this boy is. This lady right here, I believe, did something to this boy. But this lady right here was at home. We saw the light go from the car back to the house. So this man knows where this boy is specifically. Not this woman. But did she do something? I absolutely believe she's the reason why this boy had to be transported anywhere. But I believe he's the transporter. So now with that, we're getting a little closer to the information, because we found the car, the anonymous car that everybody tried to keep from the public. We finally found it. It looks like it could be associated with Kathy Bowersox, which is Chris Proudfoot's mother. And how this would work is Chris Proudfoot would have had to come back, get his mom's car, and go over to their house. Before, because of this whole 5:15 start time at his work, I did not believe that Chris could have possibly been in that car. But if we shave the fact that he could have gotten to work an hour earlier than we would have known, and the fact he may not have arrived at 5:15, there is a great possibility that it could have been him in that car instead of his mom. Because I have to think that a son would want to shelter their mother as much as they would want to shelter their wife. So him being the man, I believe he would have taken the critical steps necessary to clean this mess up, because he's the man. He needs to protect his wife, and he needs to protect his mother and his family. And more importantly, he needs to protect himself, because he's trying to get Faith. And that's what sparked this whole entire conversation, is because Katie is seen with them out having dinner with his daughter. Oh, thank you, Jen. God bless you. With his daughter, having the time of their life. There's Faith. I'm glad they didn't have her face in there, because I can't blur faces out on here. So with it being cut off, it kept me good. I don't want her, her face on here. Occasionally, you just can't help it. They are in a public place, and you can take pictures, even of children. So again, public place, you're in the public light. So there's no duty of privacy, even of children. So again, public place, you're in the public light. So there's no duty of privacy. My parents that have missing kids is being around other children, because they're missing there so bad. It's one of the hardest things I hear for a parent to deal with when they've missed their child. Oh, thank you. And she's just sitting here. Look at her. No tears, no nothing. She's changed her hair color. Her hair color looks more brown than it did red. It's darker. She's now wearing glasses. These are things she's never worn before. It, to me, sounds like she is going out of her way to try to modify her appearance as much as possible. This is concerning for me. Let me see here. Lagging. If I'm lagging, I might be. Okay, I-65 to I-40. Followed it there. So many churches. My gratitude. I'm taking a picture of this. Hopefully it doesn't screw up my audio. Okay. I want to follow that. Thank you, my gratitude. That's great. That's great. Oh, I got some updates, guys. A beautiful subscriber's giving us updates. I guess they go by the St. Jude's Project. So we actually have a little bit of insight on this. It looks like, let me just go through here real quick, and then I'll take some questions, and then we'll wind down the show. Here it is. So at 7:41, somebody says, I finally see it moving this morning. Haha, have a great day. And earlier, I think 11 o'clock at night, the same person, 10:30 at night, I got photos. It says, looks like no one is working right now to me. I have yet to see the cranes move. I look over at them every time I pass by there. I've been there 3 times today, 11 a.m., 4:30, and 10:30. And she took a video of it. And there it is. It is dark. Nobody's working. And I believe that's the 11 o'clock. And I'll call this one. This is not the same M&M, but I don't know if I have I'm able to use her name, so I'll just call her M&M too. So this looks like maybe 4:30. You can see the cranes. Looks like some working. And let me just see. I'll be able to tell the next one whether this one was 6 or... I guess I can't really tell. There's the other one. So it looks like people may be arriving to work at 7 if the cranes are starting to move at 7:41 in the morning. You know, we need to look at that. That maybe 7 o'clock truly is not their start time, but their arrival time. We need to look at that. Because I have problems with the math not mathing on his time. Now, if he was truly there at 5:15, and I truly believe that he was on scene at the Proudfoot home somewhere around that community, then I have to figure out how that would have been possible. But if he was not there at 5:15, then we got our winner chicken dinner. That's what I'm trying to find out. I've got 2 paths to go through. If he's there at 5:15, we have to go back to the drawing. But I've still got some theories on that. But if he was not at work at 5:15 and we were able to gain an extra hour of travel time for him by taking a different route to work, then we got some significant questions here of whether Chris was in that anonymous car, that unknown car. Did you know a Google map, if they're, hold on, let me see what that says. Did you know on Google Map, if you go to the sky, it tells you the details if you zoom? Yeah, like as far as when the map was created, or, I mean, I do a lot with maps because I'm in Florida and this is in Tennessee, so I'm kind of beholden to the maps, and I realize that it changes because so much changes in a year. What vehicle did CP drive to work February? His pickup truck. But you know what? In all fairness, I'm guessing that. But his mom was in her car when she arrived at Katie's. I'm in the process of searching for it, and he actually acknowledges calling his mother very early in the morning. So it's starting to put more weight into the fact that it does appear that it could have been Kathy Bowersox at that general store that morning. And I think Chris acknowledged it as well. Out of his own mouth. People have been arguing, saying it's not her. And somebody reached out to me and said Chris has even acknowledged it it's a one-liner addressed like one time in one interview, and we're trying to source it now. But they're almost confident that they heard that's what they heard. Noise ordinance, they don't start at 5. Yeah, I know. Well, see, this is different because we're hearing the noise ordinance. I'm a legal, I went to school to become a paralegal, and I worked in law offices for, a decade or longer. I haven't worked in a law office in over a decade or longer now, but I did work in a law. So when I read these ordinances, I pay very critical attention to the words that are used because those words matter in the legal sense. And it said residential community. It specifically said that. So I have to slow down because it's not saying all of Memphis and commercial areas. They would have defined that. And that was not defined in this ordinance. So now we have to divert back to where this hospital is, what the rules are in that specific location. And I think that if they are able, and there is no sound ordinance because they're in a commercial district that allows this construction, then they can run all the time. But I still think there may be restrictions even in commercial construction, I would presume. But I haven't got that concrete yet, and I'd like to get that. So that's why I'm diverting to people that can go by there and give me an idea when construction is closed down and when it starts up again. This morning's the first one that I was able to get to. And it looks like the crane started moving around, the 7:30, 7:40 mark at work, which would, go and coincide with somebody arriving at work at 7 o'clock. They have to climb those cranes. I don't know if you guys notice, but the seat's way up there. Okay? Did you guys notice that? The cranes, if you look at the crane shaft, that whole entire shaft is a stairwell. So all those operators, they got to get climbing. They're climbing up up, 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 up. Some of those larger ones have little, like, almost like elevators attached to them to take them up to their seat. But I didn't see that elevator looking thing down at the bottom. Now, I could be wrong. You know, the seat itself, the seat itself may come down, but when I looked inside there, I could clearly see steps going all the way up there. So I don't know. I'm not a crane person. Somebody in cranes is going to have to let me know. Do the baby cranes have the little elevator rides on up? I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Peach, it's nice to see you. I don't know. Every 20 feet, they have a standoff platform to rest. Okay, so there you go. Stephen. Okay, so Stephen. Oh, it's nice to see you. I've heard your name before. It's nice to have you in my chat. So Stephen Crabtree just said that there every 20 feet there's a platform. So we're talking about him having to climb up this ladder. Okay, it would coincide with somebody getting there at 7, getting their cup of coffee, clocking in, right? And then having the arduous process of having to walk up, 20 or 30 flights of stairs, like feet of stairs. I don't know. Those things are up high. What is that? Is that 40? I think it was 45 feet. Doesn't say how many feet up in the air it is, but I've got it. It does lift 88,000 pounds. That's the payload on that, or the weight load. The load measurement indicator, but their actual load, and it's a 40 to 45 ton crane. It's considered a baby crane or a small crane in the industry, as you can tell. Appropriately designed here, related to the cranes, appropriately designed here. And it looks like he had an oopsie, because I can smell it over here. We won't tell anybody. But no, he does go up there. So I think that 740 would probably be about right. So if he starts at 7, his crane starts moving at 740. Why is he there at 5:15? But we still have to resolve, is there any reason he could have been there earlier? Did he have was there something being delivered that he needed to move that morning? And that was the only time that they would have had an opportunity to move whatever he needed to move, the supplies or the materials or whatever. Because it may be possible, and I learned from another subscriber that has a husband that is that's like a project manager or something like that, and they say on these large jobs that they will only allow materials to come in at certain times, because once they don't want these deliveries coming in and jamming up the roadways during normal business hours, so they make them do the deliveries before the work starts. And they usually give them a window like 5 to 7 or 5 to 6:30 or 5 to 6 or whatever the case may be, to get everybody in to drop off their supplies and get them out before all the traffic starts getting on the road. There is that possibility. We don't know. We do need to find out, because it's getting down to the wire, and we are now focusing heavily on Christopher Proudfoot and what Christopher Proudfoot was doing that morning, where he was, and did he have time to be in Hendersonville helping his wife with Sebastian. And that is really where I'm leaning, because Chris has pretty much told us that he's the man's man. He's helping, he's going to help his wife. That is his job, to protect his family and to protect his wife. We've heard him say that over and over and over again on these interviews. And I'm listening to him, and I am taking him seriously, that it is his job to protect his wife and to protect his family. And I believe he did just that. Ellie has not checked the Google Map history or OnStar. We don't know what they've got. That's all subpoenaed records, so I have to think that they would have subpoenaed the records. They didn't require them to really do anything but write paper. It's not like it's not like we're asking them to do a forensic testing of the house or anything like that. So I think they may have submitted it. They may have submitted it. My snarky attitude with the Sumner County Sheriff's Department will go away as soon as forensics are done. Until forensics are done, I'm going to be screaming from the rooftop through my bullhorn that they are not turning over every stone to find Sebastian. And I'm going to stand behind that until the day they take their forensic team in that damn house and do their bloody job. Is Barbecue Lady in here? It's nice to see you, Barbecue Lady. I very rarely see you pop in here. Or if you do, I don't see you because I don't pay attention to chat. This just happens to be one of the days that I'm actually reading chat. I never read chat. It's nice to see you. They better find him. We're working. We're trying. We're trying. We're trying. Oh, and just to let you know, barbecue, I'll be out there. Today is the 18th. Is today the 18th or the 19th? Today is the 19th. Crap, I got to get my stuff to charge. I'm leaving here on the 22nd. So I don't know which way I'm going. I don't know if I'm going to start in Memphis and work my way down to Hendersonville, or if I'm going to start my job in Hendersonville and work my way up to Memphis. I've always been the person that believes that you start at ground zero and work your way out. But, you know, obviously a lot of people have worked from ground zero. So I don't know if I really need to start my efforts on places that everybody has already been. I need to find out the other stuff. So I just thought, in my opinion, he didn't walk away. I don't think he walked away. There's nothing here that even remotely looks like he walked away. And I know I think I've said this on here before. And you know what? Let me put it like this. Let me ask you guys this. And I probably have asked you this before. But if we were listening to a story and law enforcement did a press conference and told us that a wife went to bed, her husband stayed up just a little bit longer, and then he went to bed, and sometime during the middle of the night between 12 and 6 a.m., his wife got up and walked out of the house without her purse, her keys, or her cell phone. And she vanished into the night. If you believe that he would have no culpability in that, or your first impressions would be that he had no culpability in that, press 1. If your first impressions of hearing that story would scream to you red flags, and you would believe that he may have had something to do with the missing of his wife because she left her keys, her purse, and her cell phone at home, put a 2 in the chat. Because I think that right there is really what we're dealing with here. Except where everybody hears son and mother, and their thoughts change. They literally change. They no longer believe that our common sense works. But if we change the people and make the mom the boyfriend and make the son the wife or the girlfriend, we have a different, everybody believes differently. But because we put Katie in one position and Sebastian in another position, everybody is complaining. You know what I'm saying? My thought have changed so many times. Oh, they do. I started out with like five theories in this. I started out with 5 theories in this. My 2, based on what we knew at the very beginning, my 2 best theories, which were Chris being responsible, not Katie in the least. It was all Chris. My 2 theories within the first 30 days were wiped out. My top theories. My least favorite theory when I started this case was that Katie was the suspect, or the person that was the aggressor, or the person that could have harmed her son. She was the furthest on my list. I just want to let everybody know that. Chris was the primary. I even stated that I thought Chris did a ninja op, right? And snuck into the house and unalived him, snatched him out of his bed and took him out, off, whatever, just so Katie didn't have to deal with it anymore. Boom, 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 we're done. Rip the Band-Aid off type of guy. I thought he did it. That all my theories, my first 2 theories, were completely extinguished within 30 days. So now I'm actually, it may have been 60 days. Pebbles will have to say. Pebbles will have to tell me, because she was the one that was on my butt thinking that it was Katie the whole time. And I was like, no, I really don't think it's Katie. Look at all these behaviors with Chris. Look at his scratches on his arm, arguing. And of course, we debate the issues. And so we're in there having a conversation. I really wasn't entertaining it. I'm thankful that she doesn't get too frustrated with me, but I wasn't entertaining it at the time. But you know what? There was a time when I reached out to her and I said, hey, Pebbles, send me everything you got on Mom. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're working. It's like, okay, this is, we got some problems here. Send me everything you got on Mom, right? And so that was when I started digging in on Mom. And that's when I started saying, okay, this is starting to pan out a little better. These pieces are starting to fit a little bit clearer. These pieces are starting to line up a little bit better than Chris. So this is all starting to make sense for me that, obviously Katie was the one that was home alone with him. At this point, I don't think that's a dispute that anybody can have. So that's where we're at. That is truly where we're at. We are now focused on, we're back to Chris, but we're focused on Chris in a totally different light. I no longer believe he's responsible for what brought us here, but I do believe that he is the cleanup. He is the brawn. He is the go-to. He is the man. He is the husband that needs to protect his family. And I think he did just that. Prayers for Sebastian. Yep. That's kind of where I'm at, though. You know, and so that's where kind of the information that I've been following and everything like that is kind of leaning. So I'm honing in on Chris, which is making it very difficult because I'm trying to weigh the pros and cons of starting in Memphis, because Memphis is so far away from ground zero that I'm really debating myself over the right strategy here. And I don't know, honestly, if I'm going to know the right strategy until I get there, because sometimes you just need to plant your feet in the dirt and see what the area speaks to you. You know, what is the area telling me? Is it telling me that this is not the right area? Is it telling me let's turn the heat up? Is it, you know, what is my gut telling me? It's not that my gut is 100% right or, you know, anything like that. It's just that, you know, I've learned to trust it over the years. And, you know, especially the life I had, there were some very significant circumstances that had it not been for my gut, God knows what would have happened to me. And so I've just learned to trust it, because there's been so many times that I ignored it and I should have trusted it. And when you go through those experiences enough, you learn that maybe you're overlooking something that's deep inside of you. So I'm really trusting my gut on this right here. And my gut is telling me that this child's not around that home. My gut is telling me there's too many variables here, and that if Chris is the one that would have stepped up to the plate to take him and take the package and deal with the package, then I'm dealing with a whole different element here, because I'm dealing with a guy that's in the construction industry. That means he's used to thinking used to thinking quickly, used to thinking outside the box to get something done. It's a you know, when you're in these things, there's going to be issues that come up in the construction field that you need to fix, and you need to fix quickly, and you don't have experience on fixing. And it takes common sense for you to apply in order to properly fix something that you've never fixed before. So that is something that's keen to construction workers. Then you add the military on top of that, and you're dealing with even if he did have learning disabilities, you are still dealing with a very sophisticated person. Somebody this is not a person that's book smart. This is a person that is street smart. So they have that aspect of evolving in situations, and that's what we're seeing with Chris. So I'm dealing with a different person than, say, Don Wells, even though Don Wells was very clever in whatever he did as well. But again, he's another man that comes from a construction background, and there's just something keen with construction backgrounds where you have to think on your feet and sometimes do jobs from common sense and just your experience in the construction industry to fix something that needs to be fixed on a drop of a dime, because you don't know, you got to keep going. So I see this type of thought process with construction. So and Don Wells is 100% street smart. He's got a PhD in street. Okay, this man is and people underestimated him, and they're like, oh, he's dumb as a box of rocks. And I kept saying, when we first got on this case in 2021, I told everybody, you are underestimating this man. You are underestimating Don Wells if you think he's dumber than a box of rocks. This man comes from the streets. He's been in and out of prisons, from Florida to Tennessee to Texas to Utah, you name it. He sat in it. You're talking about a very acute street smart man that can think on his feet and think on his toes. And that, to me, I'm sorry, being book smart and street smart, if I had to pick mine, I would go with street smart. I would go with street smart. Because with street smart, you'll get book smart. Just because you're book smart, you'll never get street smart. So there's a difference in personality and the way that they think and process information. And that has to be applied here. So I'm dealing with a much more sophisticated person than with Don Wells. Don Wells, I think, took a path of least resistance. We just haven't figured out what that path is. I think he did a very simple process. Boom, boom, done. And we just haven't figured it out because, again, he is not very very book smart. He is street smart. So I don't know how to do his street. But Chris, I'm in it. I'm in it a little bit deeper because he's military. I have understanding of military. He's construction to boot. He's got some education in the construction. It's not like he just went out and doesn't need a license. Like he went to school to become this crane operator. He's had to read books. He's had to, he knows how to process information. He knows how to do mathematics and calculations that helps him with his loads and how much he can take up and where he can put it and how much pressure he can put here and here. So he's got he's got a little bit of both book and street smarts, which is going to cause problems in analysis. But I do think he's further out than his home or the radius around his home. But would he still be in that part of Tennessee? I don't know. That's why I need to find out whether Chris was at work at 5:15 or not. Honestly, that's going to help me decide that. Oh, SPED teacher, it's nice to see you, my love. It's nice to see you. Hey, little Bertha. So that's really all I have. Again, I'm still working on that. We're getting some progress getting going. We do have somebody that's out there keeping an eye on the project, feeding us some information back as to when the project shut down and when the project's going. It looked like the crane started moving around 7:30, 7:40 today. That would, in my opinion, go right in line with somebody arriving at work, say a few minutes before 7. They have to crawl up those cranes. They got to get seated in there. It is possible that those cranes don't start until about 7:30, 7:40 in the morning. So that's kind of leading us in the direction of, this is only one. We need more. This is not corroborated until it's corroborated. This is just an angle. We've got some information supporting our angle right now with the fact that the cranes didn't start moving until that time today. But that doesn't mean anything. That's just one day. This may be an off day. We don't know what happened on that construction site this morning. So we can't use just one day as our solid foundation. We need a few more days of this. And if we see a consistency of a few more days of the cranes starting around this time, then we'll know that the cranes start, that the people clock in around 7, and that gives them enough time to get up there to get started around 7:30, 7:40. So I really think that this is going to progress nicely. We're going to have some answers on this. This is going to be one thing that we're going to absolutely be able to answer 100% positively without a doubt. We will have by the time we're done with this, we will have no doubt in our mind when the construction starts over there at that hospital. We don't have to guess anymore. It's going to be done. We'll know. And so I'm trying to get that before I leave. And it looks like we're starting to hold some water at the 7 p.m., but we'll keep monitoring it. And I am definitely going to be sitting on that place. And I pray to God that their security, somebody may want to let them, their security better not harass a private citizen walking on public property or interject or prevent me from my peaceful walk. They do not want to interrupt Bullhorn Betty. Now, if he wants to be nice and come up and ask me how I'm doing, I'll be happy to be kind, courteous, and clear to him. But he comes up with a lieutenant and pointing at his thing. I'm going to be opening my shirt and saying, I'm Bullhorn Betty. Your lieutenant badge on that security shirt means nothing to me, and I will embarrass that man in front of whoever is watching. So I hoped that they treat Bullhorn Betty with a little more respect than they did the other content creator. So that's where we are going to be at some point, but we are getting our answers answered when it comes to Chris. I'm not willing to leave the state of Tennessee without my answers answered on when he got to work and when he left. We will have that answer before I come back to the state of Florida, one way or another. And I don't care if I've got to go and sit out there like a bum with a freaking buggy and beg for freaking quarters to sit and talk to some of the construction guys there. I'll do whatever it's going to take to get somebody to open up. Somebody's going to talk to me, and I'm going to know what's going on in there. And Chris is probably watching, and he's going to say, there's no way. I'm telling you, I'm good at what I do. So we're going to, I think Tony's doing a great job. I think he's doing a great job. Now, it sounds like he's taking which I think, there's a lot of people out there trying to create some stuff with him, I think. I don't know. Again, I stay out of as much crap as I can stay out of. However, if I do see something, I try to address it diplomatically. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a nasty person. And I don't think Tony is either. I think that it's easy to vilify somebody in a situation that's unknown, and sometimes when people get scared, they're worried, they are more in an attack mode. I can tell you, whenever I'm truly like angry or raging, I don't raise my voice. It's the last thing I do. Like when I get quiet, that is like the worst freaking thing in the world. You don't want Bullhorn Betty quiet, okay? If I'm screaming, I'm not raging, okay? I'm angry. But a lot of my screaming comes from a place of hurt. It's my coping mechanism. It's something that I have to learn to work on. When I'm hurt, I put up a very protective facade. And that protective coping mechanism facade for me is, don't mess with me attitude. Hold on. We must have been going for an hour. It's the don't mess with me attitude, right? And it's like, no, like I will scream. I will raise my voice. But the only time I ever raise my voice typically is not because I'm angry. It's because I'm hurt. That has manifested itself into anger, if you will, if that makes sense. I'd wear a bulletproof everywhere in Memphis. No, I won't do that. I won't do that. God's put me through. When it's my time, it's my time. I will not do that. I have already lost my life. I almost lost my life before that. I'm here. I'm free. I don't need to wear a bulletproof vest. If things go south, they go south. When it's my time, it's my time. I believe no matter what happens, it doesn't matter. For example, my cousin Joey, he got into a car wreck. He should have survived that car wreck. He landed just right where he couldn't move his head, and he drowned it in 2 inches of water. This much water. This much water. It's a freak accident nobody can explain. So when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, whether it's explainable or not. Would I ever wear a bulletproof vest? Yeah, I would. This is not one of those situations I would. But if I was going into a situation like we had, like in the Summer of Love or something like that, where I would be doing a documentary or doing some commentary on it, I would be in a freaking, riot suit, riot gear for that. Because I know I'm going into a very dangerous situation, and I would protect myself for that. But going here, I'm not going to be walking around with a bulletproof vest. There's no. I don't do that. I don't do that. I think that's about it, guys. And we've already been on here for about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get my day started. I need to get another cup of coffee. I hope I got your gears turning. If anybody's in Memphis and your guys are going by St. Jude's, anytime you're going by there, it doesn't matter what time, day or night. If you're out there at night, night is almost better and early morning is almost better, but I will take any photos of any time. So what I'm looking for is I'd like to see like around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'd like to see if that is completely shut down, and I'd like to find out if they open their gates or if anybody's on campus to work at 5:15 in the morning. That's what I would like to know. If it's dark at 5:15 in the morning, there is no way in hell Chris would have been there. And if he is there, why would he be the only employee there? And that could be a clue all in and of itself. But what I did learn is that crane, they will know as soon as his butt hits that seat. As soon as he sits down, it does an indicator. As soon as he cranks up his crane, everything is recorded on a black box. They even have what's known as LMI, which is load measurement indicator. And the load that machine can handle is up to 88,000 pounds. And it is a small crane, even though it looks big. It's a small crane in the crane world. So, you know, he still has a lot of walking to do. I think the larger, I've seen cranes that have the little elevator thing that goes up on them. But this is not one of them. He's got to walk that all the way up. So, and there's, yeah, Jessica, I believe there's some cameras there. There might even be some cameras inside the cab. So, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. And if he did get in the gate, there will be a key card to tell him exactly when he entered the gate. I don't know if the gate is a manned gate or if it's a keyed access gate, but we'll find out. Again, we'll find out everything when we get there. All right, guys, you guys have an amazing day. Thanks for rocking it out with me. It was a great group this morning. I hope you guys learned something. Don't forget to share my name around. We will be dropping this. If somebody would like to watch this in its entirety, I will be dropping this on YouTube so you guys don't miss any of our live content here on TikTok. So if you guys would like to go over there, sub up there as well, I greatly appreciate it. This is sponsored by our subscribers over here. So if you'd like to be a member or subscriber here, I think it's like $2.99 a month. Please go up there and consider being a subscriber of this channel here on TikTok. God bless.